How's it going, Commander? So, this video is the third in my line of heroes to use in the Frozen Fjords Venture Season. Last we talked about constructors with the amazing Hotwire as a combat constructor, but this time we are focusing on ninjas, warriors of melee weapons, and they have the modifier Super Ninja, where ability eliminations increase your melee damage and attack speed by 50% for 10 seconds. Melee weapon eliminations also reduce active cooldown by 2 seconds, and your shadow stance benefits double. The downside is that your ranged weapon and trap damage is reduced. That's not an issue though, since ninjas are superior with melee weapons, not ranged. But with weapons themselves being a luck of the draw, how will we get a melee weapon good enough to help us in the fight? Well, we have the team perk Blakebeard's Stash, which gives us a couple of items. One of them being a peg leg, with this melee weapon being classified as a club, but the swing speed is incredible and the damage is extremely high. These peg legs automatically get set to the highest level of whatever mission you are in. But what about the ninjas themselves? What ninja would be good for this team perk? Well, the first one we will go over is Dragon Scorch, with the commander perk Wings of the Dragon. His Dragon Slash ability increases its range to 3 tiles long, 2 tiles wide, and increases your Dragon Slash damage by 25%. Huge area of effect, which will no doubt increase the chance of you getting that pirate's chest for your peg leg, cannonballs, and coconuts to heal you. What about the support team, you may ask? Well, since we are using Blakebeard's Stash, we'll need 3 pirate heroes to activate it. One of those heroes is Crossbones Barrett, with Going Coconuts. Gives you a 20% chance to find coconuts in containers, which increases your damage by 16% and heals you for quite a bit. This also means you have a high chance of getting those coconuts in those treasure chests from Blakebeard's Stash. Speaking of Blakebeard, he is the next support hero to use with Avast Mateys. He increases your cannonball damage by 20%, and cannonballs do some intense damage. Not only do they explode after a while or on impact, but when they do detonate, they split off into 3 tiny cannonballs, covering more areas in explosions. Swab the Deck is next, which is from Privateer Hype. This increases your club damage by 17%, which is indeed necessary since our peg leg is classified as a club. This means more eliminations and a way to reduce the cooldowns of our abilities. Now, to the main 2 support heroes that'll buff our Dragon Scorch ability, we have Sarah Hotep with her ability Return of the Dragon. Our energy cost for our Dragon Slash is reduced by 15 points, which is great because usually our ability takes about 50 of our energy. But with Sarah Hotep, it's dropped to 35 energy. This means we can usually go back to back with our Dragon Slash, doing some insane combo damage. And lastly, for our little kick to our Dragon Slash, is Snuggle Specialist Sarah with her perk Tail of the Dragon. Our Dragon Slash leaves behind an energized trail, which deals 26 base energy damage per second. Perfect as a sort of trap, because these husks don't register the literal trail of fire you left behind, so they'll actually stay in it with you and just burn away. If you don't want to focus on your Dragon Slash and instead use your clubs and another ability, then I have the perfect loadout for you. We still will be using our Dragon Slash ability, if only to get a better chance to get our Blakebeard Stash. The only difference is the bottom 2 support heroes, replacing Sarah Hotep with Cloakstar, which gives us Fan of Stars, where all our throwing stars are thrown at once in an arc, while also adding an extra star. You'll see why this is important in a bit. And lastly, replacing Snuggle Specialist Sarah is my favorite hero, Snowstrike. Her ability, North Star, is kinda contradicting in this season of Ventures. Throwing stars slow down enemies for 4 seconds instead of dealing damage, but enemies slowed by North Star explode for 167 base water damage if they receive melee damage or damage from another North Star explosion. Additionally, Throwing star effects and damage will be applied during the North Star explosion. In short, you have created a crowd of walking explosions. Yes, I know the damage will be reduced by a bit due to the husks being water and the explosion is water damage, but this is multiplied by the number of explosions detonating at once. It won't matter if the husks are water elemental, the multiple explosions going off all at once will eliminate everything in the area, and it's just beautiful to watch. This is an intense loadout to use for crowd clearing. Mind you though, this hero loadout is not for single target. You could slow down a smasher and cause an explosion, but you're still not going to do much damage to something that big with just the explosion. So let someone else deal with the big boy. Next on the list, if you remember the Ventures modifier from earlier, our Shadow Stance also has an increase in its ability. What does Shadow Stance do? Pretty simple. When eliminating an enemy with a melee weapon, we get an armor increase by 60 points and an increase in movement speed by 15%. Not bad in general, but what if we can make something even more deadly? Our commander will be Cloaked Shadow with his perk Corrupted Aura. During Shadow Stance, we deal 51 base damage per second to nearby enemies, meaning that any husk that gets close to us will take a decent amount of damage per second. Mind you, this is going to put us in a rough spot. We will need to be in the middle of a horde for our ability to do actual work. Thankfully, we do have some decent support heroes. Our team perk is going to be Blakebeard Stash again, along with Crossbones Barrett, Blakebeard, and Privateer Hype. But our other two support heroes are Paleo Luna with Saurian Claws, where 3% of our current health is added to our melee weapon. This means if we stay at high health, our damage with our club will be immense. And for a little extra damage in melee swing speed, we'll add Breakbeat Wildcat with Battle Beat, where eliminating 10 enemies in 9 seconds grants Rocking Rift. You know the deal with this one, increased damage by 50% and melee attack speed by 32% for 8 seconds. Amazing team perks, and it will keep us in top shape to do some high damage. But let's say you're tired of Blakebeard's stash. You have a melee weapon you want to use. You were lucky enough to get the mighty Excalibur in the palm of your hands. Well, not really Excalibur, but at least something close. Then you keep onto that weapon and change the team perk and support heroes a little bit. We're going to keep Cloak Shadow for your Shadow Stance ability, but replace Blakebeard's stash with Totally Rockin' Out, which, when activating Rocking Rift, also increases your crit rating by 160 points and heals you by 73.75 base health. This is good, because not only are you going to be doing some insane damage with the melee weapon you have, but you will also be able to heal yourself over time. As for our support, we got Breakbeat Wildcat with the same 10 eliminations grants Rocking Rift, but we also have Mainstage Quinn, which gives us wafers. By harvesting metal, we get a 32% chance to get a wafer, and when we eat one, we get Rocking Rift. But our melee weapon will need to heal us a bit more since we're going to be in the middle of a horde and we may not have time to pop a wafer. In comes Arlene Iza with Monster Smash. Increases life leech with melee attacks by 15% based on missing health. This means we will be able to heal incredibly fast by just smacking a husk upside its head. Assassination is a perk that belongs to Lotus Assassin Ken, where dealing melee weapon damage grants 1 stack of assassination up to 5 stacks. This lasts for 5 seconds and increases our damage by 4.5% per damage. So 4.5 times 5, simple math, is a whopping 22.5% damage buff. So not only are you being buffed with Rocking Rift, you're going to be buffed with Ken, doing some immense damage with any melee weapon you have on hand. And lastly, my favorite hero again, Snowstrike with her freezing throwing stars. Again, what's a little extra damage with your weapon? If you can slow down or freeze all the husks around you and just smack them with your melee weapon, then you'll be doing some ludicrous damage to every husk that surrounds you. all while healing yourself up from the explosions. To me, this is one of my favorite loadouts because of mainly the explosions and the fact that you can use any melee weapon you have in your inventory. Doesn't even matter if you use your pickaxe. If you slow down the husks in place, you cause the explosions, you gain Rocking Grip, and just start swinging even faster. One of the best loadouts in my opinion. But that about does it for today. This is the third video of the series, and lastly we will be going over the Outlanders with their anti-material charge and their ability to just summon a small army with the push of a button. Seriously, Outlanders are the only ones where you could technically solo all adventures by yourself. That is nuts. But other than that, if you guys like my content, why not leave a like? And if you guys want to get more updates regarding the game, why not drop a follow? Until then, as always, stay safe and game on!